Good morning everyone, how are you all doing? I'm Mysticle and I've been gone for quite some time, well, a week to be precise, and a lot of things have piled up during that week, including the Apple Vision Pro's launch, possibly one of the most anticipated pieces of hardware throughout the last few months. That and so much more in AR and VR news in today's video, so let's get right into it. As usual, we're going to begin with some meta news, but you have chapters down below to skip to any part of the video that interests you the most. And the first piece of news that we have is the brand new V62 update that actually comes with quite a few exciting features. It's a pretty big one this time. Do keep in mind, Quest updates do roll out gradually, so you might not get the update at the same time as everyone else. But with that being said, let's jump into a few of the features. Simplified hand gestures are one of these. Previously, when using controller-free hand tracking on Quest headsets, you opened a special hand tracking quick action menu. Version V62 simplifies this flow by default. Now, pinching your thumb on your right hand immediately opens the regular Quest system menu bar. No delay and no different mini menu. Long pinching will now recenter your view. Essentially, the right hand pin gesture now works exactly like the menu button on the right touch controller. That's interesting for a number of different reasons, but it makes me wonder how exactly will it work if you want to do this for a completely different reason. Perhaps in VR chat you want to use your fingers for everything and you just kind of want to do this for no reason. You get what I'm trying to say? And now with it immediately opening the menu, I wonder if that's going to be a problem. Probably not though, they probably saw this coming. I was hoping that they would implement that wrist menu that we saw a few updates back hidden in the code. iPhone spatial video is now supported by default on the Quest, making your life a little bit easier in case you want to watch those spatial videos inside your Quest headset. You could already do this with an application, but now it is supported by default. The microphone improvements we talked about multiple times in previous videos, those are now implemented, so your Quest microphones should sound a lot better. Additionally, Meta says it fixed an issue where the mic could be accidentally muted, added a prompt to alert the user when the microphone is muted at system level, but an app is trying to use it, and improved the quality and synchronization of the microphone in screen recordings. That's actually a really big deal right there. The microphone and screen recordings, that was an issue for quite some time, as well as audio desynchronizing itself sometimes from the recordings that you have. Pretty annoying issue, but they did work on that over a while. And now we also have multiple mixed reality room meshes, which are now supported. This is brilliant, the amount of times I've had to set up a new room mesh, but the Quest 3 supports room-aware mixed reality. When you are using an app that supports this, you're prompted to look around your room and let the headset scan a 3D mesh of said room. Until now, however, the headset could only store one scene mesh. So if you wanted to use mixed reality in a different room, you'd have to do that process all over again. With V62, the Quest 3 can now store up to 15 total room meshes. Further, Meta says the headset will now be better at recalling stored room meshes to minimize the instances you ever have to rescan your room. Pretty big deal there again. A lot of people were very annoyed about the fact that they have to continuously rescan their rooms every time they move around, or when the smallest change is made. So this should be a pretty big change. App continuity when multitasking. V62 includes an improvement to 2D app multitasking called app continuity. Quest headsets have let you open 3 2D apps at once for years now, including system apps, web browser windows, and side-loaded Android apps. But before now, opening an immersive app would discard these apps. While you have been able to bring up the browser while inside an app since last year, you still lost your triple app setup you had before launching the immersive app. With V62, your 2D app setup will now persist after launching an immersive app, and VR enthusiast Luna has had access to the public test channel of V62 for a few weeks now, posted a video to X showing what this looks like. We have some Quest Link PCVR improvements. Just over 2 months after Valve released the Steam Link for Quest app, Meta is making improvements to its own first-party Quest Link and Air Link feature for the first time in years. A new USB Link Auto Connect feature will make a Link automatically reconnect when there's a crash or disconnection. Hand tracking, eye tracking, face tracking, and body tracking are now exposed to OpenXR PC apps, whereas previously they only had officially worked in the Unity editor. Meta is promising general stability, reliability, and battery efficiency improvements, and the Oculus PC app was recently renamed to the Meta Quest Link. It was one of the last places where the Oculus brand had been with us. That is now gone. Facebook live streaming is now for everyone. Both the original Quest and the Quest 2 shipped with support for live streaming to Facebook, but Meta removed this feature in 2021, citing low usage relative to local casting. In the V56 update, they started rolling this back out gradually. However, in V62, this is now available to everyone again. When live streaming to Facebook, you'll see a floating persistent panel with the current viewer count and live chat. YouTube live chat is now available to everyone. In November, Meta opened an opt-in early access program for an in-headset YouTube live chat overlay. With V62, this feature is now rolling out widely. To be clear though, the headset won't actually handle the live streaming. You still can't live stream to YouTube. You'll have to use a desktop software like OBS for that. However, you can now see a YouTube live chat overlay in your headset. Little by little, maybe we'll get there. The Quest browser now supports gamepads, so in case you want to play a game in your browser, you can now do so with a gamepad, connected via USB OTG to your headset or via Bluetooth. And there you go. That's the V62 update for our Quest headsets. I must say, this one's a pretty big one, improves some great features that a lot of people have been waiting for, and I cannot wait to try it out myself, since I didn't get it yet. I might just force sideload it. Virtual Desktop now supports tongue tracking through the Quest Pro. This is a feature that we recently saw available to be streamed to PCVR through something like Steam Link. However, now Virtual Desktop supports it as well. So in case you want to use tongue tracking for whatever reason, you have that feature there now available through Virtual Desktop, as well as all the other amazing customization features that Virtual Desktop offers you, since I know a lot of people prefer using that to something like Steam Link. The Ultimate Trackers from Vive, which are their standalone full body trackers, now support PCVR in beta. So in case you're interested in standalone full body tracking without the need for lighthouses or anything like that, however, you haven't been wanting to buy it because it hasn't yet supported PCVR, you now have the option to connect that to PCVR. This option is currently in beta, however, it is there and it is rolling out. So that is fantastic. The Quest 3 is now one of the 3 most used headsets on Steam. It's been slowly climbing that Steam VR hardware survey for quite some time now. It was the 3rd most used VR headset on Steam in January, surpassing the Oculus Rift S and almost catching up to the Valve Index. The data comes from the Steam VR hardware survey, which is offered up to a random sample of Steam's user base each month. If you accept, it uploads a list of your PC specs and peripherals to Valve, as well as any headset you've used with Steam VR in the past month. So these numbers aren't going to give us the most 100% accurate representation, but they do give us a pretty good idea of what we're looking at. And you can see here, the Quest 2 is still on top with 40.64%. Then we've got the Valve Index at 15%, and the Quest 3 is now at 14.05%. So it is rapidly climbing, and it is getting there. It's actually really interesting to see how rapidly it's getting to the top. I don't think it's ever going to surpass the Quest 2, especially as the Quest 2 is still one of the most widely adopted VR headsets, especially at its price tag, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The Quest 3 launch drove highest ever Meta Reality Labs quarterly revenue, over $1 billion. Reality Labs is the division of Meta behind Quest headsets, the Ray-Ban smart glasses, and the Horizon platform, and the neural wristband input device. In its Q4 earnings call today, Meta reported $1.07 billion Reality Labs quarterly revenue. Being the holiday season, Q4 has always been the strongest quarter for Reality Labs since Meta started breaking out its financials in Q4 of 2020. But Q4 of 2023 was the strongest ever by far. That's really interesting to see, since quite a few people thought that maybe this was going to start being Meta's slowdown until they release another cheaper device. However, it looks like this was actually their strongest quarter yet. Probably not just thanks to the Quest 3 being more expensive, but also with people now buying more Quest 2s. A lot of the people that were waiting for the Quest 3 actually looked at the Quest 3 and said, no, you know what, I'm actually going to go for the Quest 2 instead. So what we're seeing here is not just revenue from Quest 3s, but from Quest 2s as well, and a bunch of other things that Meta Reality Labs sells. Puzzling Places is available on the Vision Pro now. Puzzling Places is a very fun game that I've actually played on my Quest headsets. It's a 3D puzzle-like game. If you're into those kinds of titles, I would highly recommend you give this one a look. And of course, the Vision Pro is now out. I can't afford it. The move to Poland hasn't exactly been the most kind thing financially to me, but it's okay because we get to see a lot of fantastic reviews from other creators. And I'm gonna be honest with you, yesterday I was just sitting through it, watching other creators unbox the thing and take a look at it, and just seeing their wowed faces and seeing how impressed they are. It looks amazing. and I really hope I get to try it out one day. If you guys are in Poland and you have access to a Vision Pro, please invite me. I wanna test it out, you know. We could have some fun, you know, we could chill for the day. I'd take you out to lunch or something, I don't know. You give me Vision Pro test, I give you lunch. Even if it may not necessarily be the right device for me. I'm not in the Apple ecosystem, and what I've been hearing from people is this is a fantastic device from the ecosystem. I mean, you can copy things on your phone, on your Mac, whatever, and it translates directly into the headset. Everything just interconnects, intertwines. The fact that you can take your MacBook screen and just virtually prop it out of the device and have it right there in front of you, it looks like a fantastic device for the ecosystem, to be honest. And the displays are supposedly amazing. The FOV apparently isn't that great, I've heard from a lot of people, but the display visuals, the ecosystem, and the actual way you interact with the ecosystem is supposed to be incredible. And I mean, that's what Apple was aiming for here. They were aiming for a device where everything just kind of seems polished, and it looks like that is exactly what they got. I highly recommend you guys check out some of the other reviews from other creators. Even if you're not that interested in Apple as a company, this is apparently something else. Panasonic has sold Shiftall. Panasonic first showed off an ultra-compact VR headset prototype at CES of 2020. While Panasonic originally planned to commercialize the concept as a tethered PCVR headset through its subsidiary Shiftall by the end of 2021, this target has slipped year after year. The product came to be called Shiftall Megan X, but while a small number of units have shipped in Japan, the headset has yet to launch in the US at all. Despite this, at CES of 2024, this year, Shiftall announced a new version of the headset, the Megan X Superlight. The improvement in Superlight is its weight. Shiftall says it's 50% lighter. They haven't yet announced a price for this new headset, and now Panasonic has sold off the company. The new owner of Shiftall is the Japanese firm Creek and River Co. It seems to be a very generalized company with no specific speciality. There you go, that's quite interesting. I honestly didn't expect Panasonic to be selling off Shiftall just as they showed off a new product, but here we are. Does that mean that there's a slightly higher possibility that they're going to deliver with a new company backing them up now? I'm not entirely certain. Leave your opinions down below. Here's fantastic news. Sony Mocopi now works with PCVR. The Sony Mocopi is a full-body tracking device created by Sony, and you could change the trackers to become Slime VR trackers. How cool is that? Thrill actually has a video on that right up here. However, that was unofficial. Now it seems that Sony Mocopi works with PCVR via a partnership with Slime VR, and this makes me so happy because I got to meet the team behind Slime VR. We actually drove all the way to their cave in order to try out the new device before it was even fully out. It was really cool. Mocopi is a $450 streamlined body tracking kit for PCVR that launched in Japan in late 2022, but came to the US last year. We've seen multiple IMU trackers before. They're not as accurate as lighthouse-based trackers, but they do have some benefits over those. For example, not being able to be occluded by covering them up in some way, unless you're covering them up with a Faraday cage. And they have gotten quite accurate throughout the last few years. The trackers communicate via Bluetooth to the required Mocopi smartphone app. The app previously only supported forwarding the data to VR chat on the Meta Quest, but that has just changed. Sony has released a new software update to let it work on PC via a partnership with Slime VR. Honestly, again, I can't tell you how happy this makes me. Slime VR being open source, we've seen it grow so much throughout the last few years, and the accuracy has improved immeasurably. Seriously, check out my video right up here. And props to Sony for allowing that as well. I mean, I guess it makes it easier for them not having to develop their own software, but they didn't have to do this. Either way though, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you'll have a fantastic rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. If you liked it, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this one works too, but let me know why down below. If you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, where I want to see you smoking your spice memes. Really? No? I want to see you posting your spice memes. And much love to all the Patreons supporting this channel. You guys are amazing. Seriously, much love. And thank you to anyone else supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form. And as usual, if you guys want to be notified about your content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you guys in the next video. Peace. I've had a little too much coffee today.
Eddie's driving, no?
Yeah, that's what.